Hi, I'm Anna, and I'm a junior marketing major at Loyola Marymount University. And today I will be interviewing Henry Rainey. Henry is the superintendent at Berks Homes. Henry is also a member of NAHB. The NAHB Student Chapters is a program dedicated to enriching the educational experience of construction to students by providing them with NAHB membership, access to educational programming, networking opportunities, and firsthand exposure to the building industry. Hello, Henry. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself?
Doing great.
That's good.
So we'll just start off. What initially drew you to this career path?
So I wasn't a person who had a dad who was in construction or a family member. The closest thing I had was my grandfather. He was a marble mason down in Florida when he first started out by trade. I was mostly an athlete. I played a lot of football, and when I was in high school, I was more worried about getting recruited by my dream college, West Virginia University, which I ended up getting recruited by them, and I went and played football. Thank you, thank you. And the first week I was there, I actually blew out my shoulders, and I had to get 3 shoulder surgeries. And I went through this phase in my life where I was kind of depressed.
Right.
And my grandfather kind of picked me up by my shoestrings and said, "All right, you're going to learn construction."
Nice.
And so that was kind of my start. That winter, a truck drove into my grandfather's house, and my first construction job with him was repairing the side of his house. So
Wow.
that's kind of how I got into it. My grandfather threw me in, and then after I worked with him for a little bit, I just went to the Pennsylvania College of Technology, and that's kind of where my love for construction took off. So,
Nice. What
yeah.
an origin story. I love that.
I feel like I have to give the whole origin story because everybody asks me, Henry, they say, Henry, was your dad in construction? Was your grandfather? Which my grandfather kind of was. But at that point in his life, he was into antiques, collecting antiques and selling those. So one day he just, when I was 19 years old, said, "We're going to do construction." And that's where my love started. That's where the fire started burning. So
nice. So sort of about the background of your construction and things you wish you had learned and whatnot. What high school courses or college courses have you found to be most applicable or important in your occupation, or you wish you had taken, like in hindsight?
Yeah, so that's a fantastic question. And I actually went to a private high school. I did go to a public school for a long time, but after a while, I went to a private school, and they really didn't teach any of the, construction classes, the automotive, which looking back now, I wish they did. But they did prepare me very well for, just taking notes. And taking notes in this job is huge. And I know you're going to ask me later on down the road about what's one thing I wouldn't expect. It's the notes. You take a lot of notes. And also, I had a fantastic English teacher. He taught me how to not be afraid to stand up in front of people and talk. He helped. He was just a huge role model for me in not construction necessarily, but just becoming a man in general.
Right.
And then I will be honest with you, in this industry, our labor force is Hispanic. So Spanish is a class that I wish I took more time in. I took 2 years of it, and I wish I took 4 years of it. So now I do take Spanish classes just to kind of help me out a little bit.
Definitely. That's amazing.
Yeah. So then I went to college, and then at the Pennsylvania College of Technology, I did the residential construction management and technology program, which the first 2 years, I literally built a house from the footer up. I took masonry classes, I took roofing classes, I took siding classes, framing classes. So they really prepared a raw guy like myself. I went into it, and all the other kids, they had dads who were in construction. They had, they had worked construction before, and they just took me and they treated me like I was always part of construction and helped me out a lot. And then after that, the first 2 years, like I said, you're pretty much building a house. And the 2 years after that, you're actually in management classes, you're in codes classes, and you're in classes that are going to get you and talking to people, because that's another big thing in this industry. I started out working for a log home company, and I was a laborer. As a laborer, you're not talking to people very much except for your direct supervisor. Well, in this job, I am literally talking to somebody every 5 minutes. So that was another fantastic thing. Penn College is the short name for it.
Gotcha.
So I think Penn College did a great job. And then that led me into joining the NAHB.
Nice.
Yeah.
So sort of based off of, learning about this and what brought you up in it, you talked a little bit about it, but what internships or apprenticeships or sort of like shadowing programs helped prepare you for this?
So as soon as I went and started school, I paid for it all by myself. So I went and worked at Lowe's, which Lowe's is technically in the construction industry just because it is a supplier. And at Lowe's, I met so many different contractors, and that's actually how I got my first construction job with the log home company I worked for. Nice. I won't say the name of them just because I didn't ask it, but
sure, of course.
It's a local log home builder, which I absolutely adored that job. I grew up in the mountains, and I've always dreamed of having a log home. So I worked there and at Lowe's for about 2 years. While I was in college, after 2 years, I left Lowe's and I started working at a local CTC program where they take high school kids and kind of teach them, construction. They teach them nursing, the culinary arts, all this stuff. Where I was a teacher's assistant, so I've always, ever since I was done playing football, I've coached. And one of my other passions is just, teaching the next generation. So that was something I really enjoyed. And I got that job because I was talking to one of my professors at school, and he said, "Hey, they're looking for a guy. How would you like to do that?" And so that's what I did. Nice. I'm just going to look over my notes here real quick.
Of course.
So then through Penn College, they have a massive career fair every year. And at the career fair, I met with a company who's not a part of the NAHB. They're called Ryan Homes. And I did an interview with them. I got a summer internship with them, loved the company. And then after I graduated, they offered me a job, and I worked there for 2 years. Awesome. And then now, after I got married last summer, my wife said, "Okay, Henry," thank you. "Okay, Henry, we got married." I was working in Virginia at the time. She said, "We got married. I want to move back to Pennsylvania." And so we're back here. Nice. Now, Berks Homes is affiliated with the NAHB, and I am really happy about that. I've been very, my boss actually is the president of the local chapter. So him and I do a lot for it. And actually my wife does too. So she also went to school for the same thing as I did.
Cool. Sort of in it together, power couple.
Oh yeah. That's what we try to do.
Love it. So you started to talk about this a little bit, but how did you engage with the NAHB, whether it was as a student or as a new professional, with Berks Homes and whatnot?
Yes. So as a student, I was part of the NAHB student chapter for my junior and senior year. My senior year, I got the chance to go out to the International Builder Show down in Orlando that year. It was in Orlando. And I was a part of our 4-year, what was it called? Our 4-year, sorry, I forget what it was called. They have a student chapter competition where you basically take a plot of land that they just pick randomly out of the country, and you pretty much have to develop it. You have to do all the market research. You have to do all the civil engineering, everything. So we had to get students from our marketing school, our engineering school, and then us construction guys and girls. And we were just working on this thing. It was about a 9-month project. And we went down to the International Builder Show and presented it. That year we didn't do too well, I will be honest, but it did take me out of my comfort zone, and it forced me to step up, learn some things that I didn't know before. Like I talked all about the financials.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea what the financials
Right.
were.
Right.
So I had to learn it pretty fast. And then, there's students from big schools like Penn State, Michigan State, Arizona
Mm-hmm.
State. They're all watching you. And, it was just a great time. There was like 200 people watching you. We're presenting this, and it was just a blast.
Nice. No, learning experiences like that are
Oh,
invaluable.
yeah.
They're just so.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my first time to Florida and my first time on a plane, too. So that's a
Amazing.
positive.
So see, it was in all aspects, it was adding to you. And
Oh yeah, it was perfect.
so,
And then I'm sorry.
no,
I'm sorry.
you
Was there
go.
something you wanted to say?
Absolutely not. You go ahead.
I tell my customers before I do a customer walk with them, I'm like, listen, if you have a question or something, just stop me, because once I get talking, I'll talk. I'm a talker. So don't be afraid to, say, Henry, calm down, shut up real quick. I got to ask you something.
No, I want to hear everything you have to say. No worries.
Well, good, because I have a lot to say, I guess. So after college, like I said, I really didn't participate much in the NAHB because my company that I was with wasn't an affiliate. So after I left Ryan Homes, I came and worked here at Burks Homes, and they are a huge affiliate here in central Pennsylvania with the NAHB. And like I said, my boss is the president of the local NAHB chapter. Mm-hmm. So consequently, anytime he has an event going on or just a meet and greet or something, my wife and I are always volunteered. She works for the company too.
Awesome.
So
awesome.
Yeah. So
cool.
So we've gone to the local school here and just taught some of the kids on building like dog houses, help them put up siding and showed them how to do a roof, things like that. And then also we had our builder show here, and we helped set that up. We helped run the NAHB booth there, so we are very active in it. My wife, her dream is to one day be a regional person for NAHB. I personally am a big fan of that as well, but this is something that she really wants. So I sit back and say, okay, babe, it's all you.
Great. Awesome.
But I'll help her out all the way. For
sure. Yeah. So, even going off more, how has NAHB impacted your career success? Like, has it pushed you to greater heights, sort of in that?
I believe so. I think going back to college, first off, just going to the International Builder Show and having that NAHB membership beside your name, that's automatically going to get me talking to other NAHB members. I met the owner of my current company through the NAHB, which helped me, get a job here. And then honestly, maybe, I don't know, it's like I said, it's helped me in my career just by, meeting people, creating better, relationships with contractors who are also a part of the NAHB. But then also to myself, it makes me feel good helping, other contractors who need help. Like I said, I love going and teaching the kids. I love helping the kids. I feel like, any knowledge I have is useless if I'm not giving it to somebody else.
Nice.
So that's something that I would say, to me personally, that's the biggest thing that I get from it. So
definitely. That's amazing. Yeah. So delving a little bit into your day-to-day, what does your typical work day as a superintendent at Burks Homes look like?
So typically I get to the job site about 7 a.m. I like to be here early. The first thing I do is I drive to job sites, make sure it looks good, because presentation is key. A pretty lot sells a lot, you know what I mean?
Nice, so yes, of course.
So I do that, I drive my lots, and then I get out of the truck actually, and I'm walking my houses. My goal is to at least walk every house twice a day. After I walk the house, I take lots of notes, like I said earlier, notes.
Yep.
Everything you see, whether it be the littlest thing or a big thing, take notes. After I've gone through every house and I've taken notes, I'll go sit down, check my schedule, make sure everything's up to date. make sure all of my contractors have hit those dates. And if they haven't, I'm going to give them a call. And either way, I'm probably going to call every contractor on that schedule just so they are constantly up to date on what's going on. But then after that, I'm going to go meet with a customer on the job site or a contractor or a sales rep. And then as I'm doing all this, it doesn't work out that perfectly. As I'm walking through a house, usually somebody stops me and says, Henry, I need this, that, or that. So, you can make a schedule in construction, but it ain't going to stick to it, So I am a firm believer of just rolling with it and loving every bit of it, because if it was a perfect schedule, if everything went as perfect as it could, a robot could do my job,
Sure. Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
so after I meet with everybody, I contact everybody, then I try to walk my house one more time before the end of the day. And then usually I check my schedule and head home.
Nice. You get that checked all the boxes and ones you didn't expect to check, and then you're
Oh yeah. So as soon as I get all those fires put out and check all my boxes, I had a good day. So
Nice. So you talked about this a little bit before, but what are some of those aspects of this career that you wouldn't necessarily expect?
So one thing I would say is paperwork.
Right.
I would have never imagined how much paperwork I do. I'd say that I spend a pretty good amount of time doing paperwork. Taking notes, you need to definitely do that. That's a huge thing. I learned real fast that if you don't take notes, you are gonna not do so hot. But on the other side, I didn't realize how much I would interact with other people. That's another thing I really love to do. I love to talk to people. I love to get to know people. And I just think that's part of the fun of the job,
Oh yeah.
You talk to a contractor and he tells you about how his dad's been doing this for 50 years and he's been doing it for 25. And at a point you become, not friends, but you become buddies.
Yeah.
And that's just fun. It makes working so much more fun when you're working with people that you enjoy to work with. Now, that isn't always the case. You're going to get people that you don't like, but you got to be civil. So
Right. Inevitable in a lot of industries.
Oh yeah.
You got good people, you got some harder to work with people, but you make it through.
Exactly. I live by the idea that you just keep it positive and people will be happy to work for you. So
absolutely,
that's what I try to do.
Absolutely. Well, that perfectly segued into our last question. What are some words of wisdom that you have for somebody who's looking to get into this?
So my words of wisdom, so if you're looking to get into it, my words of wisdom are get around construction, be around construction as much as you can. After you get into a position that I'm in, be understanding. That's number one, because nothing is going to go perfect. If you think it is, you're not in the right industry. It's not going to go perfect. And whenever something doesn't go perfect, you're going to get stressed out, but just roll with it and smile about it, because that makes it easy. Another big thing, be kind. On a hot day, whenever you see your framers up on a roof working hard, bring them a case of water,
Nice.
Just be willing to help people out and be kind. But then my final thing is be firm, be firm. If you set a date, call them up and say, listen, you promise you'd be here, be firm with them. I always think of the old adage of Teddy Roosevelt, speak softly, but carry a big stick. You know what I mean? He's one of my favorite guys to read about. So that's kind of what I try to live by. Speak softly, but carry a big stick.
Well, that's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing with us today about a little bit about what you do and how you're getting through it. And I'm impressed for sure. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I had a good time. And if you guys need anything else, let me know.
Of course. Okay. So thank you for joining us. And I hope you learned more about NAHB. For more information, please visit the NAHB Q Career page and find out how NAHB can help you with your career development. Until next time, have a good week. Goodbye.